lovely to see you all and share this service with you, and this time together, very special, friends gathering together. And if you have a candle, just take a moment to share our light. We find it very hard sometimes to share our light. We find we should hide it, and yet we're encouraged in Scripture not to hide our light under the bushel basket where nobody can see it, but to put it on the lampstand. Let our light shine so that others can know the light that we are. So we recognize the light here in ourselves and each other, and the light that this represents as the inner light within us all, that Christ light that is not just our potential, but is here and now and always. And so this is our modern version of the invocation that was originally written by Charles Fillmore, to really affirm and feel into and know the presence in which we abide and live and have our very being. So let's say the words as they are written on the screen together. I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge God's presence and power, which, through divine wisdom within me, erases my mortal limitations and brings forth the pure substance of love into our world, through us all, according to God's perfect law. So let's take a moment of sacred silence as we take these words into our minds, our hearts, our bodies, our very being. And let us know that we are immersed in the Holy Spirit that is God, so that all of God as our life, our love, our wisdom, our joy, our peace is here. We feel into God's presence and power. We surrender and let go. And as we do, know that any sense of limitation is erased, is dissolved, melts away, so that we know ourselves as the love and light and beauty and joy that is God in this world. We breathe this energy in. We know this energy as our truth. And we are grateful for the opportunity that we have to be here today, to know this for ourselves, and to witness also for all those whom we hold in prayer. We are one in the presence and power of God, and here all is well. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Kimerie. Today's daily word reading for Sunday, July the 16th, is focused on reflection. And the affirmation is, I reflect the brilliant light of God. God, the one presence and power in the universe, is expressing through all people, the natural world, and all other aspects of life. If I ever doubt the presence of God, I need only behold the world around me. The light of God is being reflected in the kind words and acts of people, in the beauty and magnificence of nature, and in life's grand rhythms and minuscule movements. I too reflect the brilliance of God. My ideas, dreams, and all I do to make my mark on the world are just some of the ways the divine expresses uniquely as me. Living from my divinity, I bring more of God's light into the world. And the Bible passage for us today is from 2 Corinthians 3:18. And all of us, seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. I reflect the brilliant light of God. Thank you, Kimerie.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you. And the words of this reminded me of our Unity hymn, a beautiful hymn actually, Be Thou My Vision. And we have a recording of Sally playing it and singing it. So this is what we are going to listen to next, and join in if you wish to. Thank you, Sally, for that beautiful playing as well. So it leads us nicely into our talk that I put together for today, mostly because we're actually studying this book in an SEE class right now, The Eye of the Storm. Several people in the room are on that class doing it with us, and it's all about finding peace in conflict. It's a book that we've used in Unity for talks and SEE classes and workshops for many, many years. And it's got so much in it. But I've taken just one or 2 points that I really wanted to share with you that really helped me in an understanding and a practice. So the Bible quote that goes with finding peace is the famous one from Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Well, nicely said, not so easily done. I know for myself that if there's something going on that I don't feel caught up in and engaged in, I can respond as peace and I can show up as peace. But if I've got a button on me that gets aggravated by something, or something somebody says pushes it and I get stirred up, the last thing I want to do is be peaceful. When I find my button pressed, when it's not going the way I imagine or I want it to be, or they're not being kind to me, or something's going on, I feel hurt, frustrated, angry, upset. So when I'm like that, it's like, be peace. No, I don't think so. There's no way on earth I feel peaceful right now. And I don't want to feel peaceful right now. I'm upset. Why shouldn't I be upset? And, you know, I remember myself as a child, I was not an easy teenager. I would, if it wasn't going well at home, slam the door downstairs, stomp up the stairs, go into my bedroom, slam the door again, and sulk in my room because it wasn't going my way and I didn't like it. And I know now, looking back, it was because I couldn't communicate my needs and feelings. A teenager, the last, you know, they're not very good at communicating needs and feelings, teenagers, so they do what they do. And that was my response. I'm going to sulk and I'm going to let you know that this is really bad and it's all your fault. So I know that I have been like that as a child. I pray to God I'm not quite so bad now. I do have my moments when I don't slam doors and stomp upstairs anymore. At least I don't do that. But I certainly have my moments. So how do we find peace when we're in this energy, when we're in this conflict? Well, first of all, we have to know that we're in conflict. In other words, not dive right in and react when something is said or done, like we very often do. It's like, okay, I'm feeling bad, but I don't need to say anything right now. We have to realize, first of all, that something's up in us. And then the second big step is want to do something about it. Now, that's the choice that we have. Am I going to react or am I going to respond? As a child, I reacted big time. Dad used to say to me, count to 10. And I go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I didn't want to stop and pause. And, you know, it was their fault. My sisters, their fault. Nothing to do with me. Why should I be the one to apologise and not respond, you know? And of course, I wanted to feel sorry for myself as a child. And so I let everybody know that I was feeling sorry for myself. And it kind of reminded me of that quote from St. Paul, you know, when as a child I saw in a mirror darkly. We do see through the mirror darkly when we're in our pain, when we're in our conflict. But as we grow up, as we become adults, as we start to recognize the light that we are, we can choose to respond in a new way and see face to face. So, how do we do something about peace in the midst of conflict? Well, there's a wonderful quote from the book, The Eye of the Storm, right at the beginning of the book, which really is a powerful message. And not everybody that reads it would agree with it, but I want to share it with you. The author was told, no one is against you. You have no adversary in your life. There is nothing in the universe that is against you or your purpose. This is what is meant by an awakened future. Nothing opposes you. Any experience you may have to the contrary is evidence that your mind is rooted in separation and illusion. No one is against you. Make your path be about proving this truth, and you will discover what wholeness really is. And I would add to that, we will know peace. We will know joy and love and true freedom. No one is against us. So we are invited to remember in every moment, no one is against us. And everything in life is for us. It's a complete turnaround to what we're taught. And Jesus really was the epitome of living this truth. Whatever they threw at him, whatever they said to him, instead of defending and attacking, He simply stood his ground and used words and images and examples to show up as peace, which deflated all those situations. So when that calling in us comes, we want to know peace. It starts within us. And it's a strong calling. And the world around us and all that's going on in the world around us, all the conflicts, all the wars, everything that we witness is the outward symbol of all of us saying, we want peace. But the peace begins with me. The peace begins in knowing not only is no one against us, but everything is for us. Everything is enabling us to awaken to the truth of oneness. We abide in the pure presence of being, immersed in the energy of life and love and wisdom. This is the truth of us. Everything else is illusion. And yet, how real that illusion is. I know when I get caught up in it, it takes over. And instead of being centered and calm and in that truth space, I'm out there in the story, I'm out there in the problem, and I've lost my center ground. So how do we get back to our center ground? Well, there are simple techniques, physical techniques that we can use. And one is our breath. The power of our breath, so simple. So you may remember a time when someone said something to you that upset you or hurt you, that it felt personal, it felt like an attack. You responded in that way of being in conflict. If that's the case, and if you can call a situation to mind like that, bring it just to mind now. We're not going to dwell on that, but feel that energy that was contained in that and how you responded. And just notice it. We're not caught up in it, we're just noticing it. So now, take a moment just to breathe into your belly. Bring your awareness into your body. You might like to close your eyes. You might like to put your hand on your belly. And as you breathe in and out, keeping your mouth closed, steady breath, counting in and out to the same number. Maybe into 3 and out to 3. Into your belly, just breathe. Witness how, as we bring our attention to our breath and to our bodies, the mind disengages. And an ease comes in. It's a very simple technique, and we can do it anywhere. If we're driving in the car, don't take your hands off your steering wheel, but you can certainly do the breathing. Don't close your eyes, but you can do the breathing. If you're on a train and it's jostling or there's lots of people crowding around, instead of getting engaged in the thought and the energy that takes us out, the breath in the body brings us back to center. We've come into our center. And if you're in a physical place where you're actually with someone and there's conflict and there's aggravation, something that you can do is take a step back. I actually learnt this in one of Sally's classes that she taught. If there's someone coming at you with energy and you don't want to make it your own, we make space by God, with God, for God to come through just by taking a step back. So if you've still got your eyes closed and you're in a situation or you've been in a situation, just witness what it would be like. if I take a step back out of that energy, it makes a gap, it makes a space. And when we make space, we let God in. We let new energy in. And when we let that energy in, the situation changes. We are changed. We're able to show up in a slightly different way. Another physical exercise you can do if you're sitting down and you're taking a call that's difficult and aggravating is just to bring your body awareness back to you. You can wiggle in the chair, just feel that your seat on the chair and feel into that. Wiggle your knees together, just your toes wiggling your toes. Shrug your shoulders, anything that you need to do to bring your awareness back into your body, out of the mind, into the body, into that space that is the center point of our being, where God is, here within us, here in our midst. We make space for God. Okay, thank you. So, no one is against us. Life is for us. But when it feels like there is attack or criticism or something going on, there's often a reason for it. If we are knocked out of center, there's a reason for this experience. So instead of thinking it's all their fault, or even sometimes we blame ourselves, it's all my fault. And that blame keeps us stuck in the thought and the thinking where there are no answers, there's just repeated thoughts that go on and on and on. We can take a moment to recognize something is missing here. Something is missing in us, in me, in this relationship. And the very first thing I have learned through all my time in Unity and all the work that I've done over the years is we have to feel it in ourselves first, connect to what's missing in us, and make that real and true in us before we can show up in the relationship in a way that's authentic and real. Otherwise, we show up with our pain. So we have to know, what do we need? What do I need in this moment? What is this showing me that I am missing? Very often, in my experience, it's love, kindness, compassion, empathy. We don't feel it to ourselves. We don't feel it in us. We've separated from our truth. We're out in the conflict. We've lost that connection. So the first thing to do is to find a way to give ourselves that energy. So when we're centered and we step back and we've made space, we can receive that gift of love and compassion and kindness and nurturing that we need in that moment. We can give it to ourselves. Very often in all of us, there are wounded children that have been abused and hurt and did everything they could just to survive and be alive in this world. So it's the inner child in us that's wounded and hurting. And I've many a time realized it's that child in me that's lashing out. The teenager couldn't express it. I don't need to express it, but I can connect with empathy with that part of me that is still hurting and still wounded and still feels rejected and unloved by giving love to myself. So I've often, as it were, taken that child in my arms and loved her and hugged her and said, it's okay now. I'm here now. I'm listening now. I'm with you now. That love is here now. And feel into that energy of love and really make it your own. Take it in. When our feelings are knocked off, when we're feeling hurt and wounded, all that is an opportunity to know, here is a moment for me to bring love back. to experience that love and know that love. And all the time we do that, we make space for God. And God, as it is, comes rushing in, that energy, because that's our truth. One in God, one in that energy. And then when we've sustained ourselves in that energy that is God, and felt that love and that kindness and compassion to ourselves, we become more whole in ourselves. And now we can ask, what is missing in our relationship? Why did this person respond in that way? What is missing and what can I bring to it? And we bring, to begin with, 2 ears that listen, that make the heart. To bring that heart energy in. This is effective listening, to really listen to another, to hear what they are calling for, to see if we can be with them in that. I had a conversation with my sister many years over the phone, and she was really angry and upset, and I found myself responding and getting angry and upset, wanting to defend myself, trying to explain what was going on. And all of a sudden, and some of you know this story, but I suddenly had the thought, you can't do this, you can't react with anger, you're the director of Silent Unity, you can't do this. But what that did, that thought, was like, it gave me the space to step back and breathe and not buy into my sister's energy. And as soon as I did that, I knew and I felt my sister's pain, her rejection, her hurting, her woundedness that goes way, way back. I mean, all the childhood things that I told you about right at the beginning, she felt wounded and rejected and unloved, as did I, but we couldn't connect in that way to really resolve it. She was still feeling this all those years later as adults. And as soon as I took that step back and felt her pain and thought, my Lord, that's just what I feel sometimes, the love came in. And I was able to listen without saying anything, responding. Ever since then, our relationship has been different. We still get stirred up sometimes, but we come through all the time. We hear each other and we connect in a different way. So if you experience anyone saying to you, you never listen to me, what are they asking for? They're asking to be heard. Can you then stop and just listen and be with them without trying to make them understand your point of view, without defending your position, without trying to fix the situation, control the situation, or avoid it by withdrawing? Can we just show up and be present to that person and be fully present and respond and listen and ask questions? I'm listening now. What do you want to tell me? Personally, I think if anyone was to say that to me, I'd have a job to know how to respond, because we're not used to anyone saying that to us. It's like, what? Oh, I don't know what I want. It really makes us question, what is it I want? But we've started a conversation. If somebody says to me, you never buy me flowers, and I never say this to Paul because he does buy me flowers, but it's another example. If I was to hear someone say that, you never buy me flowers, my feeling would be they don't feel loved and appreciated. So what can we do in that relationship to show up as love and appreciation? How can we bring that? We can only bring it when we love and appreciate ourselves. But we can bring it. Now, I say all of this because whatever we are doing and being, it's authentic, it's real. It's not to fix another. We're not trying to make them happy. It's not a codependent relationship. It's not about, I want them to be happy, so I'm going to show up in that way. And it's not about expecting someone else to respond in a certain way for me to be happy. We're not talking about it from that codependency level. We're just saying, how can I show up authentic and real and honest and enable the other person to connect with that authenticity within them? We can ask. What did I do or say that upset you? But we can only do that when we're grounded in our own truth. It might be, what did I not do or say? Simple questions. If we can really listen to their answers, we can really build authentic relationships. We are building and knowing peace instead of conflict. But we can only do this when we've given it to ourselves first, made that our energy real. And we can only know that when we remember no one is against us. Life is for us. Every moment is an opportunity to know, am I expressing as love or not? Is this a call for love? What's wanted here? We need to set our boundaries. We need to be safe. Sometimes relationships must end or change. We don't stay in a violent relationship. We have to leave and walk away, but we can do that with authenticity, with truth, and with energy, and without blame. As whole human beings, this is what is right now. It's right for me and it's right for them. So it's important that we're not staying as victims in all of this. We're authentic, we're real, we're the vessel of God. We're standing in truth and love. So when we stand in this truth, we know, as A Course in Miracles tells us, nothing real can be threatened. Love can't be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. There is only love. Here we find the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. Our true self can never be threatened. God can never be threatened. And nothing unreal exists. There is only God. There is only love. The rest is a belief that we've built up because we think we're separate from that. When we know this as our truth, here lies the peace of God. No one is against us. Prove this, and you will know peace. So this is the journey that I believe we are on. Every single one of us came into this planet experiencing separation from Mother, seeming separation from God. The journey is to remember, to awaken. We are never separate. We are one with all that God is, and find our way to live that with peace and love and authenticity. No one is against us. Life is for us. So I have a meditation that I really wanted to share with you. And I am going to do that. I really want to share this meditation. It's a becoming peace meditation. So take a moment. Close your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. And know that here and now you are safe and secure. Loved and precious. And just breathe. And receive the support and welcome that is here in this moment. Every in-breath is a welcome. Every out-breath we let tension melt. And we receive in through our breath the light that is God, as our daily word reminds us today. We breathe in the radiant light that is God. We breathe it in, sparkling and filling us, and as we breathe out, it flows through us. We abide in the radiant light and life of God. Breathe it in. Let it become you. So fully absorbed within this energy, abiding within, one with the radiant light and life of God. allow yourself just to think of a time when you experienced criticism or abuse and you felt wounded and hurt. Just take a moment to bring that to mind. And just acknowledge your feelings. What are your feelings in this moment? As you remember the situation where you hurt, upset, frightened, resentful, rejected. Just be aware of that feeling in the body. And feel into it and breathe into it. Breathe into the energy. Acknowledge that went on and that is going on in the body. And allow your breath, as you breathe in that radiance of light and love, to breathe through into that energy. To let that energy dissolve, melt away the hurt and the woundedness and the rejection. That you can breathe in that love and light and peace that is God. And bring that energy back into the truth of you, to the center of you, to the heart of you. And if there's a part of you that needs loving still, that inner child, bring that child to you and love that inner child. And tell them that they are loved and precious. That right now we are with them, we are listening, we love them. And bring them back into our hearts. They are safe here. They are loved here. They are precious. And let that love fill you and become you, filling you with love and kindness and gentleness. And maybe it moves into strength, authenticity, even power. We take in this energy, for this is God in us. And so now, having filled ourselves with this beautiful energy that we are, this strength and love and kindness and power, we can ask, what is missing in this relationship with this person and you and your relationship? And you will know. Does the other person need to be heard? Are they seeking to be loved? Perhaps they need respect, to be honored, acknowledged. What do they need? So whatever it is this something you can give them? If it's yes, then tell them. Tell them that they are loved and heard and respected and honored. And if you can't, if this is more than you can do, if what they want is not something that you can authentically give, then also tell them, because you stand in your truth of who you are and who they are. And as you share this time with this person now, can you bring them into your heart center? Can you feel that merging of love that unites you, that is the truth of you? And you bring them into your heart and let love be love. Perhaps this dear one or this person has something to say to you. Perhaps there is a future conversation to be shared. But right now, take a moment just to say thank you. Thank you for them. Thank you for this relationship. Thank you for this opportunity. And take a gentle step back so that you see them once more. We honor the Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. And we let them go to their good. As we let go to our good. And then bring your awareness now back to yourself, to your body. Again, grateful for this time and opportunity and experience, but acknowledging that we are prepared to return back to each other, to this room. You may like to take a few deeper breaths, feeling that energy of vitality and alertness filling you and moving through you, so that we can return to each other, to this space that we are in now, to this time and place. And take a moment just to acknowledge what you've experienced and to know no one is against us. Everything is for us. So thank you everyone for being here today, for sharing and learning and bringing your love and all that you bring. Let us move to our peace song now, played by Gregory. If you know the words, sing along, and then we'll close with our prayer for protection. Thank you, Paul. And let us speak the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. So bless you all. Thank you so much for being here and sharing in this time and bringing all that you have. Just by showing up, you are special. Thank you.